Listen, man, I wanted to react to some greatest hits. And, you know, this ain't nothing serious. You ain't gotta go crazy. But Mike Rosenba, once upon a time, made a video called Meet Lonzo Ball. Steph Curry with a 40-inch vertical. Let's just go back in time and have a little bit of fun.
What's up guys, Mike here, and today we are going to talk about one of my favorite players in college basketball. Or I guess just one of my favorite players in the game in general, baby. Because Lonzo Ball is the truth. If you've been paying attention, if you've watched his high school highlights, if you've been watching him at UCLA, you know the man's been killing it, and I think he has the chance to become an NBA star. So today, let's look at why Lonzo Ball might be the next Steph Curry with a 40-inch vertical leap. We're going to have to realize one thing. Basketball has changed. In fact, it's changed a lot, and the cause of this change can mostly be attributed to the rise of the three-pointer. To put things into perspective, in 1980, the season that the NBA first introduced the three-point line, teams averaged 2.8 threes per game. Now, we don't have to waste time here. You know what happens next. As the years passed, the three-point shot slowly evolved from an afterthought to perhaps the deadliest weapon in the game of basketball today. Teams went from averaging 2.8 threes a game in 1980 to 9.9 in 1994 to 16 in 2006 and to 26.4 this season. And perhaps the biggest symbol of this change is the play of Steph Curry. In the last 2 years, Steph has redefined what it means to be an NBA point guard. His ability to shoot from anywhere on the court has made him practically unstoppable. He's able to do things on offense that have never been seen before, which led to this statement by Mark Jackson.
To a degree, he's hurt the game. And what I mean by that is I go into these high school gyms, I watch these kids, and the first thing they do is run to the three-point line. You are not Steph Curry.
And sure, maybe in some ways the love of the
Hey, Chad, I don't know if it was just me, but I was doing that before Curry.
Thank you. I'm about to say, look, Shaq. I was shooting Jimmy Butler transition threes. Now, did I make them all the time? I was doing it, though. I was pulling up like Russ. I was shooting the shit out that ball. I don't know.
You were doing pull-up threes and missing them? Oh, yeah, you was doing Jimmy Butler pull-up threes, bro. You're doing just fine.
I made a decent amount, you bastard.
29%? Let me chill. Let's play the video, man. Let's play it.
God fucking damn it. Every fucking video! Stop him!
Three-point shot is hurting low-level high school basketball. But for the top players, the ones who will one day run the NBA, the sight of Steph Curry was not hurting the game. On the contrary, the desire to be like Steph has only sped up the evolution of basketball. And nowhere is this more apparent than with a trio of brothers who last season took high school basketball by storm. Because in Chino Hills, California, the Ball brothers have perhaps given us a glimpse into what NBA basketball might one day become. Standing at 6'6", LeVar Ball was once a good enough player to spend a year at Washington State before leaving because, in his words, the team just didn't play fast enough. Now, to some, playing college basketball is a great achievement, something that you can take pride in. This was not the case for LeVar. To him, it was NBA or bust, and he instilled this attitude into his sons at a young age, saying, "I tell my boys all the time, someone has to be better than Jordan. Why not you?" With this mindset in place, the mindset to become better than the greatest basketball player of all time, the Ball brothers went to work. Their childhoods were spent in the gym, mastering their shots while working to reach heights that have never been seen before. And on the court, it showed. In the 2016 high school basketball season, Lonzo, LiAngelo, and LaMelo Ball dominated high school basketball in a way that few others had done before them. They found incredible success due to their never-before-seen style of play, in which they never seemed to stop running and gunning. On defense, they used a zone press, forcing in the lanes as other teams struggled to keep up with their fast-paced style of play. And even if they allowed
Now they fucking them up.
Yo, bro, this looks like fucking Ticino, bro. This is crazy. It's crazy. It looks like I'm watching a Ticino stream.
This really is 2K. All 6'9" point guards just spamming in the lane. Nah, this shit is nuts. Oh my goodness.
Basket, they quickly would take the ball out anyway and fling it over half court, starting fast breaks whenever possible.
Double circle.
Which brings us to their offensive system, which can only be described as 7 seconds or less on steroids. Once the ball was over half court, everything seemed to happen in the blink of an eye. All three brothers had the green light to shoot whenever they were open, even if that meant they were taking 30-foot bombs. And as shot after shot sunk through the net, Chino Hills went on to rack up a 30 35-0 record, were ranked the #1 team in the entire nation and tied the California state record for most 100-point games with 18, as all three brothers starred. And Lonzo, the oldest of the three and the feature of this video, well, Lonzo proved that there was nothing on a basketball court that he couldn't do. In 2016, Lonzo Ball averaged a triple-double for the entire season, putting up a ridiculous 23.9 points, 11.3 rebounds, and 11.7 assists a night. Like his brothers, he put fans in awe with his 35-foot three-pointers and his incredible court vision. But going even further, Lonzo also showed all of the signs of a future NBA star. Years of practice gave him the ability to make defenders look foolish off the dribble. And on top of this, he was a 6'6" point guard and was an elite athlete. This led to some absolutely filthy blocks on one end of the floor and to some show-stopping, posterizing dunks on the other. When it was all said and done, Lonzo finished his senior season as the Naismith Prep Player of the Year, Mr. Basketball USA, and was the #4 recruit in the nation.
Hey, no cap, bro. I was sold on Lonzo.
Yep.
I was. Hey, when this video came out.
Yeah, Mike, you're right, bro.
Hey, let me see what he has to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, people forget Lonzo shooting threes was like, he was nice at him, bro. Even in this video, you're seeing deep threes, pull-ups. So, revisionist history, now it looks funny, but at the time, yes, it was, crazy. You have to exaggerate a little bit for the thumbnail and the title, but it wasn't so crazy at the time.
Yeah, we'll have a different conversation later in the video, obviously, but for now, I do just want to address, man, I've heard some people talk about, I never really got the Lonzo hype. Shouldn't have been 2 even by some few, granted, but it's just like, nah, Lonzo coming out of high school, let alone college, he was more than just LeVar Ball hype. Boy could ball. Boy could hoop. For real.
Yeah. Going into the draft, it was straight up Markel, Lonzo, and the random motherfucker that thought Josh Jackson was going to be Kawhi, and then everyone else.
Yeah, Tatum wasn't even on everybody's radar like that. I like Tatum, mind you. I was huge on Tatum out the draft. Motherfuckers was talking about Josh Jackson way before Tatum, if we being honest in terms of coverage.
Still, for some reason, there were doubts, because headed into the 2017 college basketball season, Lonzo was considered one of the most confusing prospects in the draft. Despite the fact that he had dominated everyone he had matched up against the last season, some still had him going as low as 14 in the 2017 NBA draft. Scouts worried about his athleticism. They questioned his ball handling ability. They had doubts about his shooting form, and most of all, some believed that while he thrived playing in the fast-paced atmosphere of Chino Hills, Ball might struggle to adapt to a college system such as the one built at UCLA. But here's the thing. What these scouts couldn't comprehend is that when you have a player with Lonzo Ball's unique talent, you don't force him into a system. You build the system around him, which is exactly what UCLA coach Steve Alford has done this season with the Bruins. Remember, last year UCLA finished with a disgusting 15-17 record, a clear stain on the historic resume of one of college basketball's best programs. But this season, everything has changed, and the reason for this is that the ball was placed in Lonzo Ball's hands. Over the Bruins' first 8 games, Lonzo showed again and again why he is destined to be a star in the NBA. Sure, he put up awesome numbers, tallying 14.6 points, 9.6 assists, and 4.9 rebounds throughout these games. But his most significant contribution was clear when you looked at UCLA's record, as they jumped out to an 8-0 start and a Wooden Legacy Championship victory, knocking off big conference schools Nebraska and Texas A&M along the way. In these games, Ball proved that his jump shot was seriously deadly, connecting on 18 of his 38 three-point attempts while again showcasing his athleticism and playmaking. As if this wasn't enough, he also proved that he was the man you want with the ball in his hands when the game was on the line. As taking the ball with just over 2.5 minutes left against Texas A&M, he sized up his defense,
Lonzo
ISO, drained a three to give his team a lead they would never relinquish. Which brings us to Lonzo Ball's first real test as a college basketball player. Because on December 3rd, the UCLA Bruins took the court against the #1 ranked Kentucky Wildcats in Rupp Arena. Heading into this game, the Wildcats had won 42 straight games on their home court and were obvious favorites. But no one told Lonzo Ball and the Bruins that they were supposed to lose. Because at the end of the day, what Lonzo Ball has going for him can't be taught. His basketball instincts are just unmatched. He's able to use ball fakes to get defenders up into the air, and then he can get to the rim for nice finishes.
This dude is like Sasuke for real. Like, basketball Sasuke, bro.
Naruto pulled up. Someone didn't tell Sasuke he was supposed to. You're supposed to go back to the village, bro. What are you doing?
He's able to compensate when dribbling against a faster defender with his shifty hesitation dribble. And he can use his size to shoot over his smaller matchups. And even if his shot is off, his mere presence on the court makes all the difference. As against the Wildcats, he was able to locate his teammates for several huge baskets on the way to racking up 7 assists. And again, when the game mattered most, Lonzo proved that he has ice in his veins. With just a 1-point lead and the clock running down at the end of the half, he stepped back and took a deep contested bang. And with his team leading by 7 with 6 minutes left, Kentucky took off on the break, and Lonzo read what was happening and came up with a huge steal and dunk that kept his team in control of the game. And finally, on the very next possession with only a 6-point lead, he smoothly stepped into a 3 and quieted the whole arena. When it was all said and done, Lonzo finished with 14 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds.
Hey, yes, sir.
Hey, wait, he might be spitting. Lonzo still got that 40 invert. He might be spitting after all.
And led the Bruins to an upset win over the #1 team in the nation in their own building. But still, scouts left the UCLA-Kentucky game with serious questions about Lonzo Ball. A reporter for CBS heavily criticized Ball's game. Ball also had some ill-advised shots. Thankfully, UCLA is so loaded that he doesn't really need to score in order for his team to be exceptional, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Remember, just last season, UCLA finished at a 15-17 record. They were one of the worst Big Conference teams in the nation. And now, even though their roster has mostly the same players on the team, they're somehow so loaded that they can beat the #1 team in the nation even if Lonzo is outplayed. Pardon my language, but give me a break. Yes, the Bruins did add TJ Leaf, who has been phenomenal this season. But it is Ball who has his teammates raving. Just listen to Bryce Alford, who says, "I'm so much more efficient now with Lonzo on the floor." Because Lonzo Ball makes playing the game of basketball easy for his teammates. His ability as a floor general is simply unmatched in the college game right now, and this will translate into a future all-star level NBA career. Because at the end of the day, Lonzo Ball is different, and that scares scouts. It always has. At one point in time, scouts were afraid to take Steph Curry because he played the game differently. Steph wasn't tall, he wasn't fast, he didn't have a 40-inch vertical leap, and this was all scouts at the time saw. They didn't care that he was dropping 40 points on some of the best teams in the nation. And because many saw a player who was not normal, they missed out on a player who would change the game, which is exactly what Lonzo Ball has the potential to do. Change the game of basketball. He might have a weird jumper, but he's put in more hours on his jump shot than any prospect in the draft, and it shows as he's able to make shots from nearly everywhere on the court. He might not be fast, but he's shifty. He keeps the defense guessing and is able to use his height to make plays over smaller defenders.
Damn, Mike.
He might not fit the mold of the prototypical NBA point guard, but that's all right because his style of play not only works, it also produces incredible results. What nobody is talking about is that despite these flaws, Lonzo Ball has now won the last 44 official basketball games he has played in. He's led his high school team to a national championship. He's led his college team to a top ranking, and he's only going to get better. He is the future of the NBA, and scouts will soon be forced to decide. Pass on the player who isn't normal, or take a man who might change the NBA.
Yeah, Lonzo was definitely one of those people, like, high risk, but definitely high reward if he panned out. I think that's what people forget about Lonzo. Like, even this video, again, a laughing stock now, but at the time, I saw where Corzemba was coming from, because I was really high on Lonzo as well. But one, I don't think Corzemba really understood what being Steph Curry meant. You know what I'm saying? Like the off-ball movement, the handles even, how he could shoot off the dribble, going left and going right. A bunch of other factors. I don't think he took that into account when comparing Lonzo to Steph, but, you know, it is what it is.
Big Zo, man. Look, I know everybody's in the comment section going to talk about it in terms of whether he's a bust or not. It depends if you had this standard for him. You thought he was a Steph with a 40-inch vert? Yeah, hell yeah. But I mean, shit. Only time will tell, man. But nah, I'm just happy. And one thing I'm just happy that Lonzo actually made it to the league. One thing I will give Zo, though, is he did get treated unfairly in LA. I will give him that. As a Lakers fan, he got put in a shit situation, bro. Basically was told to just, play next to LeBron, who's going to do the same thing as you, but like a million times better. Had pressure to win off rip versus a guy like Fox, who he's constantly compared to. Just go out there, see what you can do, and we're going to work and build around you. They never really took the time to build around. So really at any point in his career, even right now. So yeah, he got a raw end of the deal, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Lonzo is definitely one of those players that, like, if you want to truly utilize him, I say this with Russ too, and a couple other players. Like, if you really want to maximize his potential, build around him and give him the rock. Even though, like, he might not be the best player on the team, if you want him specifically to function the best and inherently that team to function the best, you run it through Lonzo. I wish he had that chance in LA, but when LeBron is available and he wants to fucking sign to your team just because you're the Lakers and you win a championship, I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't regret it. A lot of people were talking about the core or that one ring. I don't regret it.
And then when Zion comes to your team, even with all the hype Lonzo had, Zion still had more hype. So I don't blame the Pelicans for being around, building around Zion. And by the time Lonzo came to Chicago, you know,
he was already written off as a role player. Yeah,
he was already written off as a role player.
Still has potential though. Hope he taps into it.
But with that being said, shout out to Mike Rosenberg again for the video. Watch this video right here if you haven't watched it. And we'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace out.
Peace.